Well, it is hockey season right
It is,
now.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
know you follow very closely, and you had a nice little early Christmas present, I would say, a few months ago when
I
your good
did.
friend got
Babs.
canned.
Yeah.
Babs.
I
Mike
mean, dude,
Babcock.
when I heard the news, I was just like, I gotta see Kami.
So-
Gotta talk to Kami.
Like
Happiest
Christmas
day of your
morning.
life.
Christmas come early. Yeah.
Oh man.
Happiest day of my life. So it's kind of I mean, in my wildest dreams, I used to play in Columbus. I have a soft spot for Columbus. I know people in the organization, guys I used to play with. They don't text me much anymore, but I'm hoping with over time, maybe I'll be welcome back. I haven't got an alumni email in a long time. I usually get those all the time. So if any Blue Jackets, please, I'd like to come back at some point when you're ready. But yeah, it happened in September. So I'll break this. So what he was doing, and I'll speak to it more in a bit. But what he was basically doing is he was going through, be like, oh, let's say you're a prospect for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Oh, hey, Colt, and first camp or whoever you are, and you're like, and then Mike Babcock, pretty big deal. He's won a Stanley Cup, couple gold medals. Yeah, give me your phone. And you're sitting in there.
No.
Like, huh?
Absolutely
God,
not.
no.
That is the correct
Yeah,
answer. But
no.
in that situation, a lot of these kids are like, unlock it, give me your phone.
Yeah.
And so he was going through cell phones, like going through pictures, or if there was a TV in here, he'd be like, unlock that phone, hit AirPlay, and put your camera roll up on the TV here so I can see what you've been up to this summer. That's what yeah.
And some of these young kids probably got some interesting stuff on there.
100%. Yeah. I mean, who knows what's on there? And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's a complete invasion of privacy and it's none of his business. But I had heard a little bit about it. So back it up to the first week of August, I heard about some of this stuff, about him going through phones. Now, I didn't know for sure, but it was coming from, not from any of my buddies, but I had heard. And so I had a couple tweets loaded up at the beginning of August. I'm like, I am going to roast this
loaded
dude.
clip. Just ready.
Like, I mean, I had them ready. I had two. I had one saved. I had the next one. And I'm right about to hit send. And I sat there and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I don't want to, if I'm Mike Babcock and I see this stuff, I'm going to be thinking, where's this, like, how does this guy know? He's not, like, then, if I'm him, I'm probably looking around and be like, well, you know what? One of my assistant coaches, Jared Bull, Mike played with him for 3 years. So I didn't want, but I didn't get any information.
You might
from
be
him.
working on an alibi.
Right.
You give him. You tip
That's
in your
not where I
hand.
got my information, but I didn't want to get him in trouble. So it was that combined with, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I mean, this has been going on with me now for like 8 years. I'm like, most people that don't know me think that I'm just have some kind of psychosis with Babs and it's all I think about. And like, now I have thought about it way too much, but it's not like I wake up every morning and I'm like, Babs. Like, that's not what's going on. Like, I'm tired of it, but I can't get away from it.
Cup of coffee and a Babcock.
Cup of coffee and a Babcock.
That's how you start the day.
Good way to start the day. A little lighter. So I decided, I'm like, you know what? Anybody who reads this from me, they're just going to be like, this dude's crazy, and that's going to be the end of it. So I'm like, I'm just going to wait. I'll wait till like maybe the middle of the season. I'm sure he's going to keep doing this. Maybe I'll hear some more. So then a month goes by, and I woke up. It was, I think, the morning of whatever, September 13th, 14th, and I wake up, and I got a bunch of missed text messages on my phone. Like, what the hell is going on? So I look, and it's like, hey, have you seen this? Get a load of this. Well, it was Paul Bissonnette. Mm-hmm. I got this information. So he goes live with it on Spittin Chiclets. So I'm reading this, and this is some of the stuff that I heard. And I read this, and then, he had pushback from the NHL, pushback from the Blue Jackets, pushback from the NHLPA on, like, you're full of shit, you're lying, that didn't happen. And Biz, thank God, like, it would have been easy for Biz to, like, just back off and be like, yeah, you know what? But he's like, no. Biz, like, doubled down and tripled down and start posting, like, images of text messages, not with names or anything, but this is where I got it from. So he's doubling, tripling down. I'm reading this. I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. Spittin Chiclets is a massive platform in hockey. Bissonnette's on TNT hockey on Thursdays, and he's not backing down. So I'm like, people are going to listen, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to just pile on. So that's what I did. I just piled on. Biz, go right ahead. Biz ran with it. And yeah, what he ended up doing was, like, this guy, I mean, he can't help himself. He's got a problem. He's a bully. At the end of the day, I don't think he really cared what was actually on the phone. I think it was just the fact of, hey, like
Like
I'm
authority,
putting you,
like you're gonna show me because I'm telling
yeah,
you.
you know
to.
what? Oh, you're the third overall pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets this year. Man, you know what? I'm the head coach of this team. Kiss my ass. Give me your phone.
Man.
And you do it. That's what I think he was more getting off on. But regardless, it's a huge breach of privacy. And so I'd heard after this was firing off, like, well, first off, Mike Babcock gets another opportunity. At the end of the day, does he know hockey? Sure. Can he run a practice? Sure. Has he been successful? Sure. You could also make some arguments that he had some pretty good teams, but I won't even go there. He's had a pretty good career. He gets another chance, even if his teams are just decent. And all he has to do is just, like, don't be an idiot. Don't be a bully. You be hard on the players, but don't do shit like that is basically what you have to do. I mean, he's 60 years old. He coaches for another 10 years, makes minimum another $40 million, and probably finishes number 2 on the all-time coaching win list. Is probably first ballot Hall of Famer, no questions asked, right in. This dude gets hired July 1st, and within, I think Blue Jackets prospect camp started sometime that week, within a couple of days. Within like 2 or 3 days of him getting hired, he was like, prospects come in, so these are kids that like just got drafted in the draft. They're 18, maybe you have a couple 19-year-old kids in there. Within 2 or 3, as soon as camp started, he started pulling this shit with these kids, and he kept doing it. And then, he's not a total, well, he is an idiot, but what he was doing, with these prospect kids, he's like, what I imagine he's doing is, with people that he's got power over, he's like, yeah, open up your phone, put their pictures on the TV. With veterans like, with like Johnny Gaudreau, and there was a press conference with the general manager. Like, I couldn't even watch it. I'm like, the general manager's like, oh, I don't think he had any ill intentions. Like, he did the same thing with me. I'm like, oh, really? The GM's name's Yarmo. I'm like, oh, really, Yarmo? I'm like, you're telling me when Mike Babcock came in to get a job, he came in and said, hand your phone over. I'm going through your pictures. Are you telling me that's
the 19-year-old kids that just got drafted?
Well, that's what he was doing then.
There.
Yeah. And so, anyways, it was a bunch of bullshit. But anyways, he
gone.
He's gone. And I think
vindication
I think
for you, by the way.
Vindication, yeah. And I'm hoping that's it. I mean, I'm exhausted. It's got to be. I mean, I can't see anybody else giving him a chance. I mean, I could care less about the Hall of Fame stuff, but I know for sure he does. And if he just wouldn't have coached again, he probably has a chance. Numbers wise, he's been successful. But I mean, if character, I forget exactly what the wording is, but in order to get in the Hall of Fame, it's not just on ice, it's your character and what you've done off the ice and stuff, like how you carry yourself. If character truly is a part of a decent sized part of getting into the Hall of Fame, he ain't getting in. He's not getting nominated.